Hello, and thank you for tuning in. You are tuned into The Encourager, and I want to talk just a moment about some things that I've been giving a lot of thought to lately. And again, this is being recorded on 4/5 of the Mercury, or not 4/5, 4/15 of Mercury Retrograde. It is, I don't know, probably 10:30 in the morning. So thank you so much for tuning in, subscribers, new listeners. Thank you so much, and returning listeners. I appreciate you all, and hopefully you are doing well. And whenever you happen to find this, you won't find it posted until the earliest is the 24th, because I'm not posting anything during the Mercury retrograde by guidance. And so, and also, that also is a strategy used against the enemy, against the karmics. So they'll find that out when they hear this. The Mercury retrograde will be over, and their powers will have been removed to interfere with anything as far as communication during the Mercury retrograde. So that is why. And again, that was guidance for me. So I've been giving a lot of thought. I said to something, I've been giving a lot of thought to a lot of things. And I think a lot of you are going to be surprised by, or were surprised by, depending on when it posted, some adjustments that I've made in my own life. And just as because again, I am definitely not a do as I say and not as I do type of person. I am definitely, if you see me do it, well then I have no argument against it, because I am doing it. And anyone who tries to come up with a reason or excuse, well, then I would stay away from those individuals, because they are not being transparent and they are hiding something. Even if it's just wounds of some sort, unhealed places in their heart, in their lives, in their heart. Sounded like hot and heart altogether. In their heart, whatever it might be, they're hiding something. So anyway, so I went for my walk this morning. Just got back a little while ago, and definitely committed today. Not that I'm not any other day, but some days are more highly focused, as we hear that car revs by. Days are more highly focused, highly revved. There are days that are more revved up than other days. And today seems like one of those days that are revved up. I have a slight headache, which I have been dealing with on and off during the Mercury retrograde, which is just a sign of another ascension. But excuse me, as that yawn confirms it, because I'm not sleepy. I slept well. I did get up at 3:03 this morning. I was awakened at 3:03 this morning and went into meditation. But the right side, just now when I made that comment about the headache, the right side, and I know it's not from dehydration, but the right side of my head is lit up right now. And so, yeah, I know that's because of another ascension. Again, I've had them off and on since the Mercury retrograde started. But I wanted to talk about, for a moment, wherever Most High takes me, us. So I've been thinking about this. In every form that we see life, it's just a different expression of the same original form. I'm going to say that again. Every life form that we see, extraterrestrial, otherworldly, other dimensional, every life form that we see is a form of the one single force, that being the divine source, Yahweh, Ptah, the creator. Okay? And that's who PTAH is. That's who Ptah is, the original creator who always was. And in fact, Ptah is the only deity that back in the true beginning, okay, is the only one who did not require a spouse. Ptah. I was wondering what my close relationship was to Ptah and Sekhmet, or Bestet, however you want to refer to Sekhmet. It's the same spirit. And so that also speaks to my Egyptian shamanic whatever too. But anyway, so this concept, so let's consider a flower. There are petals, there's a stem, there's pollen, there are roots. With this flower, we can see ourselves in the stray cat or dog, in that goldfish, in that camel, in that wolf. In that pterodactyl. It all comes, the physical that we experience, even the Metatron, that Metatron, the Enoch, which is Metatron, that deity comes from an original source that is Ptah, that is the creator, that is the Lord of the spirits. So, with that thought in mind, you ever see a picture of someone or meet someone, you see their face, and you see someone else and they look like them, but they are of a different skin tone. You ever run into that situation? I know I have. I've met, I'm going to say, so many identical twins that were of different races, it's not even funny. Because I've seen their faces, and one might be German, and the other might be brown-skinned American, or truly African American. Maybe they lived in Nigeria and then, relocated to the U.S. That's a true African American. Being born in the U.S., you are just a brown American. I'm not going to go down that road. So, I am an Egyptian shamanic by bloodline and by birth, okay? But I'm not an Egyptian American, okay? So, yeah, I'm just a brown American, and that's something that needs to be corrected in our society here in America, and that's one of my pushes. So, along with having any sort of question about race being removed off of employment applications. And I don't know what that would take to make that mandatory, but it needs to be made illegal for someone to ask you what's your culture, what's your nationality, or what's your race, right? It should be absolutely illegal. That should have no bearing whatsoever on my job or my ability to accomplish my job. You shouldn't be trying to meet certain economic or geographic or whatever preferences, whatever you need to apply for certain grants or whatever, just based on no, not for a census to say we have so many this, so many that, so we are diverse. No, you just hire based on skill and skill alone. 11:01 when I looked over at the timer. So you take this concept of one. And then you think about the natural events that we are aware of today. Going back to Adam and Eve, right? Because that is the eldest record we have on file for man walking this planet, which is true. Before that, it was extraterrestrials. Or it was, I said extraterrestrials, that's not what I meant to say. What I meant to say was there were dinosaurs, right? And so I didn't mean to say extraterrestrials, but yes, extraterrestrials too, perhaps, right? Before the dinosaurs. And so one thing that I have noticed during this Mercury retrograde is how things have repeated. Not just repeated in my life, but I have significantly taken a look at myself during this time and recognized the repeated cycles or second chances or third chances, because whatever happened, perhaps it was my fault in some cases, perhaps it was the other person's fault. Both are true, okay? And so looking at the cycles and how some of them came to an end and how those come to an end, how some continued and came back again around the mulberry bush again, right? Because the same lesson shows up wearing a different pair of pants or skirt until we get the lesson. And I'm thinking back all the way back to when I was 16 and got to Florida, and how from 1991 on, and I was a few months shy of turning 17. And I was in Florida for 32 years, not counting military. So counting military time, I was there for 24 years. And here we are. In the year of 24 and the year of 8. So I was there for, not counting military time. So, or 34, sorry, not 24. Is that right? I'm missing something somewhere. No, it's like 27 or 8 or something like that. 28 or something like that. Anyway, I don't know why it took me so long to figure that out. My mind is not here. It should not take me that long to figure that out. It was, it's funny. just shy of 33 years. So, I don't know. This concept about life and oneness, and I still haven't spoken on duality and both duality and non-duality being true. Because it is true that, just like it's true that there is evil that roams the earth, seeking whom it may control and devour. Just like that is true, but there are also angels here, physically on this earth, who are guiding us. Okay? So, and we meet them as we go about our day and life and make choices. We meet them, those angels. We meet them. And so, yeah, in fact, I'm thinking about a gentleman I met 10 years ago, the guy I met at the Aldi. You heard me talk about a time that Judy and I were at a Waldy. What in the world? What is Waldy? What is that, a cross between Walmart and Aldi? We're at a Waldy. We're at an Aldi grocery store. What is Waldy? And anyway, so we were there, and this guy walks up to us, and he takes up 30 minutes of our time, 30 minutes of our time, probably 30 minutes of our time, telling us about the things that had happened, the things that were to come, where we are to be, or at least where I am to be. He told me that my place was in full-time ministry. Specifically, he told me an evangelist. 1707, when I looked down at the timer just now, 1707. He told me that I was to be an evangelist. At the time, I was a year and some months into my dialysis treatments that were being done 3 days a week. And I had not switched to 5-day-a-week treatments yet. And so he shared some things with her about her. And he told me, one of the things that he told me that there was going to be someone, probably a man, who was going to be buying me a vehicle. And specifically, he said a Cadillac Escalade, and that hasn't happened. But he also didn't mention anything about the kidneys. And he didn't mention anything whatsoever about healing or anything like that. And perhaps that was because he didn't need to. One of the things that he did tell me, he told me that, he said, every woman that you have dated up to this point has been a counterfeit. He said, the true bride, he said, she's going to come at the end. That's what he said. What else did he tell me? Yeah, he told me the thing about full-time ministry. Told me that was the only place for me. I don't need to be doing any other job. And I remember I wrote that down in the journal that we just finished, the Black Journal. It's up there on the shelf. The Black Journal that we just finished, and I think that's the one it's in. It might be in an older one. It might be in an older one, because that might have happened before I started that journal, even though I started it, I think, in 2014 is when I started that journal. It might have been months before that. That we met that gentleman. So it might be in another journal somewhere. So anyway, yeah. So he told me that, those are the three things that stood out to me, that I remember writing down specifically. The wife coming at the end, and that's at the end of the karmic cycle, which is now. And again, all of that's still a choice. Okay. Just because, and that bride could be anything. That bride could be, that bride just represents a fulfillment of something. You know, it's just like 2020 when I look down at the timer, 2020, perfect insight, perfect sight, 2020. Okay. And so, that could mean anything when you're listening to tarot readers or you get one done and they say something about birthing. That could mean a physical birth. That could mean a new idea. That could mean a business. That could mean a collaboration, a new that you've never done before. That could be a brand new career change. That just means giving birth to something new. That doesn't mean someone giving birth. Okay? All right. So, and again, all of that is still a choice. The universe just presents opportunities to us, whether if we want them or not. The person who doesn't feel fulfilled in marriage, they will still have people approach them. Why? Because, especially if they're operating in their true selves, and it's not an ugly thing. It's not a, I hate marriage. It's just that just doesn't interest me, you know, or that doesn't fit into where I'm going at this time. That's a different outlook than I don't like it, I hate it, you know, I refuse to, or, you know, that's a different approach. Okay. Sit down sounds different than have a seat. And would you please like to have a seat sounds even better, right? And so understand all of those different wavelengths of energy and what they all mean, you know. I remember learning when I was learning how to play the bass, the electric bass. And I still to this day, I don't know how to read music. I either play by ear or, which is very good. I will say my ear is very good. Or I used taps, right? And so I would get the tap sheet music and I would play whatever music or whatever songs I was wanting to learn or whatever. I would play according to that sheet. Okay. And I really could take the time out to play. Again, like I said, or to learn to read music. Like I said, I want to learn to play the classical piano just to appease my creativity, sacral, musical chakra, just to appease it. And so I could please myself and adorn myself with beautiful sounds and melodies and all of that, right? With my glass of whatever on the piano, just for me, you know, that's all I want to learn it for. And so cut it out. I am not even going to go there. So anyway, I don't know. I just felt like coming on and sharing that with you. Also, Most High is sharing something with me right now about trajectory, and I'll be sharing more about that in some video that I post on or after the 24th, or actually the 25th, probably, because I think the last day of the Mercury retrograde is the 24th. So the 25th, excuse me, yawn for confirmation. Again, I'm not tired. I don't know what a dead yawn is. So anyway, thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. Wherever you are, wherever you find yourself, whatever you went through during the Mercury retrograde, once you listen to this, I hope your cleansing, your clearing, your growth was done, and you passed your test, and you now have an A. I received a certificate during this Mercury retrograde, my Reiki Master Healing Certificate, and gone through levels 1, 2, and then the Master Certification. So happy about that, and looking forward to adding that to the healing repertoire, I guess you could say. And so, yes. So thank you so much for tuning in. Again, my name's Nehru. You've been tuned into The Encourager. If you would like to get in touch with me, you can via email at theencourager333@gmail.com. Or if you would like to join me on Instagram, I am on Instagram at The Encourager. If you would like to follow me on Facebook, I am on Facebook at Nehru Ptah. That's NEHRUPTAH. All right. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. You've been tuned into The Encourager, and as always, be encouraged.